Hi, my name is Doug Davidoff. I'm the founder and CEO here at Imagine Business Development. Now, if you're serious about business growth, you don't need me to tell you that the game is rapidly changing. And for most, it's far more complex and difficult than ever before. Famous GE CEO Jack Welch once said that if the rate of change outside is greater than the rate of change inside, the end is near. And the challenge for most growth oriented organizations is that they're approaching this rapidly changing game with yesterday's playbook. We need to acknowledge that the fundamental growth playbook has changed. Markets are noisier than ever before, and buyers are more confused than ever. Sellers are less present at critical points of influence. Research from Challenger Inc. shows that selling organizations are only present at problem identification 11% of the time, placing tremendous drag on the ability to influence and guide the solution hypotheses that drive so many decisions and purchases that are made. What's more, organizations continually move towards consensus-driven or consensus-like decision-making, meaning we have to influence a broader set of people to drive positive decisions. All this has come together and it's bogged down organizations. The complexity that sales, marketing, and customer success must deal with every day is almost immeasurable, and it's forcing us to pay a very high friction tax. Companies lack the data and insight needed for strong, quick, and effective decision making. These trends, these changes are wreaking havoc on the ability of the best organizations historically to survive, let alone thrive. It doesn't matter what size organization you are, what got you here isn't enough to get you there. Just consider that 1/3 of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, 1/3 of the largest, most successful companies, the measurement of the economy in many ways, has turned over in less than a decade. You see, we have to adopt a new game. We're moving away from an obsession with speed, a focus on big data, building bigger and bigger horizontal tech stacks, a maniacal focus and obsession with efficiency, managing silos. And while people are important, critically important, we need to understand that the structure that they're in drives the underlying performance. All this together, we need to move away from yesterday's focus on increasing force to today's game, which is all about velocity, managing and utilizing little data to make better decisions at the point of execution, building highly focused vertical tech stacks that drive real outcomes, aligning vectors, orchestrating actions and behaviors, bringing a systems mindset to eliminate and manage the friction that's dragging down performance. And what's more, it's simply exhausting us. People and organizations are maxed out. We've spent decades focused on doing more, increasing force. Do more, do it faster, do it with less. That's the battle cry, and it's just no longer sustainable. Now, let's face it. We all have the same boss at the end of the day, and that's the customer. Businesses succeed when they solve for the customer. But consumer trust is at an all-time low, increasing the likelihood that even after they make a decision to do something with you, the lifetime value that they present is decreasing. We need to move away from addressing symptoms and trying to manage everything at the point of execution to a mindset of solving for the invisible. We need to stop trying to solve upstream problems downstream. We need to solve the problems and address the barriers and the areas of friction before the point of execution instead of at the point of execution. And that's what strategic revenue operations is all about. Revenue operations manages the invisible. Revenue operations, properly implemented, translates the go-to-market strategy and messaging to the day-to-day execution to unlock the latent potential and performance that exists in your organization. Revenue operations is about managing the invisible and ensuring that the organization works holistically in highly complex, highly competitive, and adaptive markets. Realize the journey to implement revenue operations begins with the realization that you need it and ends with a highly orchestrated organization that is able to accelerate the revenue capture and the revenue expansion. Revenue operations is not a set it and forget it approach. First, you have to pay attention to it. Then you have to align it. Then you cross the chasm from a tactical focus of revenue operations, which is all about increasing efficiency. And don't get me wrong, efficiency is important, but efficiency hits important points of diminishing returns that, if we don't manage it effectively, actually begins to create additional drag for performance. The move to strategic revenue operations is all about understanding and adapting to this constant change environment and realizing that the systems in our company aren't just complicated, they're complex. And that means they must be managed and optimized and refined and adjusted, and trade-offs must be made on an ongoing, consistent basis, or we gunk up our gears. We drag down performance and we're back to a place where we have to work harder to make progress. Strategic revenue operations is about understanding and adopting 7 key disciplines that enables your company to manage its sales, marketing, and customer success processes from a holistic, dynamic, and adaptive approach. It keeps you ahead of the changes that are necessary while reducing the turbulence and disruption that change represents. When revenue operations is applied correctly, you generate a significant advantage versus your organization historically, and more importantly, versus your competitors. Revenue operations is about marshaling all the aspects of what we're trying to do towards the outcomes that we're looking for on a short, mid, and long-term basis. The Revenue Acceleration Program is all about bringing these elements together to enable you to generate far more impact from the efforts that you're putting forth. Transform, enable, and perform. The Revenue Acceleration Program implemented in your organization will generate 15 to 37% more impact for the effort that your people are putting forth. Now think about this for a second. What would it mean if you had an additional sales rep for free for every 3 reps that you had in place? The Revenue Acceleration Program can give your organization a significant advantage. Check it out. Let us know what questions you have and see how revenue acceleration can enable you to change the game and make revenue growth far more effortless.